Learn Persian with Chai and Conversation, Khayyam's rendee deedam, Part 2. Salam be hamegi and welcome to the second part of our lesson on the poem rendee deedam by Khayyam. So in the first episode, I talked to Alan Eyre, former first ever Persian language spokesperson of the United States Department of State, about the poem, which he picked out of his little black book of Persian poetry that he'd been accumulating for years. So if you haven't listened to that lesson yet, go ahead and listen to the introductory lesson for this poem. For this episode, we're going to listen to the full poem again, read by my Khale Farnaz, my aunt who has a beautiful voice for reciting poetry. And then we're going to go over the entire poem, line by line, word by word, phrase by phrase, to make sure we have all the vocabulary and phrases down in a way that we not only understand the poem, but that we can use the vocabulary we learn in current Persian conversation. So first, let's listen to the entire poem as read by my Khale Farnaz.
رندی دیدم نشسته بر خنگ زمین، نه کفر و نه اسلام و نه دنیا و نه دین، نه حق نه حقیقت نه شریعت نه یقین، اندر دو جهان که را بود زهره این.
Okay, great. So now let's listen to that first line again.
رندی دیدم نشسته بر خنگ زمین.
So we begin the poem with the simple phrase rendee deedam. So rend, as we mentioned in the introductory episode, is a really complicated word. If you haven't already read the full 6-page article I posted in the introductory lesson of this poem, it's included on this lesson as well. Please take a couple minutes to read it. It's really interesting and takes you through a journey of how the word has been used throughout time and how its usage has evolved throughout the centuries. We have it translated as sage for this poem, but really it means someone who is no good, a scoundrel, a rogue. How did it come to be translated as sage? You have to read that article to see the full extent of it. So when you add e to the end of the word like we have here, rendee, it means a, as in a rogue or a particular rogue, like a particular person. So for example, the word for boy is pesar. Pesari means a boy or a particular boy. So pesari deedam would mean I see this boy, I see a boy, instead of, for example, pesar deedam means I saw boy. It makes it more specific. So let's repeat that together. Rendee. And then deedam is the first person conjugation for to see. So you can say man deedam, I saw, man deedam. But because you're conjugating the verb, the man or me is understood. So you can just say deedam. So again, deedam means I saw. So together it's rendee deedam. And as always, when I say a word or a phrase, I pause afterwards so that you can repeat it out loud with me as you're listening along. So again, rendee deedam. So I saw this rogue. Then neshaste, this means sitting. Neshaste. And then bar kheng zamin. Bar means on. Bar. Then kheng zamin. This is a bit of a tricky one. Zamin is clear, it means ground. Zamin. But the official definition of kheng means stupid or dumb. So kheng zamin here means barren earth, so just on the ground. But as Alan mentioned on the first episode, it does have the double meaning of stupid or dumb as well. So here, this rend is just sitting on the ground like a fool. Kheng zamin. So let's go over that whole line together. I'll say it bit by bit and you repeat after me. Rendee deedam. نشسته بر خنگ زمین. Okay, again, all together. رندی دیدم نشسته بر خنگ زمین. Great. Now the next line as read by my خاله.
نه کفر و نه اسلام و نه دنیا و نه دین.
Okay, this line is really good for us because it gives us so many great vocabulary words. So na simply means no. Na. And then he goes on and rattles the thing that this rend is not. So na kufr, and kufr means infidelity or disbelief. Kufr. So na kufr. So he's not a heretic. Na kufr. And I also want to teach a really popular phrase that this word kufr is used in present conversation. You'll hear this all the time when someone says, kufram darumad. And kufram darumad means the heresy went out of me, but it means I got really frustrated. So this is a good phrase to put in your tool belt, kufram darumad. And then o. O simply means and. O. This is spelled va with the vav letter, and it can be said that way too. Va meaning and. Va. But a lot of times in conversation, it's o. Great. So na kufr or na Islam. Islam simply means Islam, as in the religion. Islam. So na kufr or na Islam. So he's neither an atheist nor a Muslim. Na kufr or na Islam. And then, o na dunya. Dunya simply means the world. Dunya. And he ends it with vo na din. So vo is another version of and, which, as we said, can either be pronounced o or va also. In this case, vo just slips more nicely off the tongue. So that's the version that's used. Vo. Vo na dunya. So, and not the world. And he ends it with vo na din. And din simply means religion. Din. So he's saying, not an atheist and not a Muslim. And not the world and not religion. Let's repeat the full line together, piece by piece, and then we'll repeat the full sentence together. So, na kufr, o na Islam, o na dunya, vo na din. Great. Now let's repeat the entire line together. Na kufr, o na Islam, o na dunya, vo na din. Excellent. It's such a nice line to say because it all just rolls in together so beautifully. So next line as read by my khale.
نه حق نه حقیقت نه شریعت نه یقین.
All right, so haq means rights, as in the law. Haq. And haqiqat is the truth. Such good words here. Haqiqat. And I recognize that both of these words have that qe sound in there. If you can't quite get it, that is what you should focus on getting correctly this next few weeks or days. Yeah, just keep repeating that sound qe, qe, qe until you get it. And of course, these words give you plenty of opportunity to practice that. So haq, haqiqat. Okay, so let's say these two together. Na haq, na haqiqat. And again, if you're not getting it this first time, don't worry. Just keep practicing it until you get that qe sound. It's really important when you're speaking Persian. So for this line, it feels like he's gotten even more into the rhythm. So he's dropped the o or the ands. So just na haq, na haqiqat. And then na shari'at. And that is simply the Sharia law, which is the set of rules which Muslims abide by to live, an ethical life. So Sharia law is in the news a lot, and there's a lot of misinformation surrounding the word. I would urge you to look it up, but the simple definition is just that. It's the set of rules that Muslims abide by. So, na shariat. And finally, Na yaqeen. Yaqeen means certainty. Yaqeen. So no Sharia law and no certainty. Na shariat, na yaqeen. And of course, that yaqeen word also gives us the opportunity to practice that qe. Na shariat, na yaqeen. Okay, now let's repeat this full line together. Again, we'll do piece by piece and then we'll say the full thing together. Na haq, na haqiqat, na shariat, na yaqeen. Now the full thing. Na haq, na haqiqat, na shariat, na yaqeen. Perfect. And now the final line.
اندر دو جهان که را بود زهره این.
All right. So first the word andar. This is not one that's used in conversation very much. It's a very fancy word and kind of reserved for poetry like this. It simply means in, but you can also think of it like the word within. Andar. Then do jahan. Do simply means two, as in the number. Do. And jahan means the world or universe. Jahan. I want to point out that this is now the second word we've had for this concept of world. The first was dunya. So these can be synonyms for world or earth or universe. So here, do jahan, two worlds. Do jahan. And I think by this he means this earth that we know of and heaven, or the celestial godly world, if you will. Do jahan. So andar do jahan, in these two worlds, then kira bovad zahre in. We're going to break these apart a bit to get to the meaning of it. Kira bovad. So bovad is again not one of these words that we use in a conversation, and neither is the whole construction of kira bovad, but it means who has. Kira bovad. And zahre means gall, meaning guts or courage. Zahre. And when we say zahre in means this. So this kind of gall or courage. Zahre in. So the full sentence means andar do jahan, in these two worlds, kera bovad, who has zahre in, this kind of courage. So let's say this full sentence again, piece by piece. Andar do jahan, kera bovad, zahre in. And now the full thing. Andar do jahan, kera bovad, zahre in. All right, perfect. So as we said with Alan Eyre, the poet is walking by someone sitting on the ground who isn't mired by all these characteristics that he maybe sees in other people, perhaps some hypocrites in his life. And he's saying, who has the courage to just be like this? To just be. So I absolutely love this poem. We're going to listen to my Aunt Farnaz recite it one more time. Hopefully this time you can follow along more completely.
رندی دیدم نشسته بر خنگ زمین، نه کفر و نه اسلام و نه دنیا و نه دین، نه حق نه حقیقت نه شریعت نه یقین، اندر دو جهان که را بود زهره این.
And it's short, simple, and sweet, but really packs a powerful image and meaning. So I encourage you to now memorize it and join our discussion on the poem. We'll link to the page where you can see videos from classmates reciting it from memory and discussing the meaning. Hope you'll join us there. And that's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, Khuda Hafiz from Layla.